Thank you guys for joining me for Patrick's Pod. We have Gabriel and we have Jose on the other end. And first off, I want to ask, what got you interested in the car culture and how did you learn about it? Let's head over to Gabe first.
All right, my name is Gabriel. And what got me into the car culture? I believe a big part of my car culture was the movie Fast and Furious for sure. I was a little kid watching that, kind of just led me into the whole car community, getting into tuner cars, getting into tuning, racing, and then a part of just watching NASCAR and F1 on Saturday and Sunday with my dad. That was definitely a big part of my car culture in the beginning.
Nice. And what are your thoughts, Jose?
Yeah, I think for everyone it's almost the same. Uh Fast and Furious did do a lot, but I think what got me mostly into is when I actually started working on them. It just pushed me more into it, learning about them, seeing how to make them faster, and that's just how I got into it.
Cool. And how much do you think social media exaggerates like the appeal of street racing or illegal modifications? What are your guys' thoughts on that?
I would say that social media does exaggerate street racing and modifying cars or the whole car community in general. I think it does exaggerate how bad it is instead of the good outcome. I remember growing up in a pretty bad neighborhood. One of the main things that kept me out of trouble was being into cars. I wouldn't say really working on cars. I did love working on cars, but the form of racing, the form of going up to the mountains and driving around with my friends, or going down to the track on Sundays and really just putting down our times and stuff like that. It kept me out of a lot of trouble in high school, and it also was just a healthy alternative for like anything that was going on in my life at that moment.
Yeah, I think it is exaggerated. Just of course, it just depends what kind of a cars you're getting into. So there is the modification where people do modify it, but a lot of the times it's when you do it for content, they do not drive these cars on the actual street anymore. Um, yeah, it's just there's a lot of good things that come out of it. Like Gerb said, it does keep people off the street. It gives people jobs. Like I got my first job as a technician because I started working on cars. It does give people opportunity to learn other stuff. And also, it's like a few of the people I know and I work with now are some of my best friends, and we all met through cars and through the social media and so on.
I think if I could just tap in real quick about the part that I missed a little bit on social media.
Yeah.
I think social media does provide a little bit of a negative view on the car community. I think that a lot of the car community is a good environment. I just think social media portrays it as just outlaws and more so just people with loud exhausts or people that are trying to hurt other people. Like, you know, it's kind of gotten into the point where people think that anyone in the car community is a part of a gang or a part of a bad group of individuals, when in reality, it's just a bunch of kids on a Friday night who want to get together and talk about their cars or meet up for, some snacks and just drive around for a little bit and have a good time.
Right. Appreciate that insight. Uh, which brings me to the next question. Do you think that street takeovers give the car community a bad rap?
Well, so my personal opinions are, I guess you could say biased. Um, I used to meet up with my friends all the time at around 1 or 2 in the morning in the industrials. We used to just, drift around a little bit and like, just have a good time at night. No one was around. No people were trying to get through. No ambulances were trying to get through. It was very private. It was usually just a parking lot, if anything, and it would be like 15, 20 cars. We just rip around some tires for the night. Nothing major. But do I think that the new takeover community or whatever you want to call it, yes, I do think it's very dangerous, and how there's guns involved, there's drugs involved, there's crashes involved, there's people under the influence driving in the roads, um innocent families passing away and dying. and it's not a good look on cities. It's not a good look for the car community because a lot of people do genuinely just want to have a good time, burn some tires, but the guns, the drugs, and then the immature mindset, it can really bring down the car community.
Before I wrap up this pod, is there anything else that you guys would want to share or add or give out to the audience?
I guess don't judge every person just by the cover. Don't try to just, if there's a person on the freeway who happens to have a modified exhaust or a loud exhaust, uh, to your preference, don't try to swerve or don't try to make a scene out of it. Usually, we're not trying to hurt anybody. We're not trying to do anything. We just have a taste, a different taste than a lot of people. But in reality, the car community is so spread out, and people that don't even think that they're into cars are usually into cars. For example, like a lot of people in Europe are into cars. A lot of people in America are into cars. A lot of people who don't even like modifying cars are into certain cars, whether they're into like Porsches or SUVs or nice, expensive vehicles. Everyone's usually into cars, and that's because everyone needs to drive a car. Um, but don't like, not everyone is out to get you. Not everyone is trying to blow your eardrums. Not everyone is trying to cause chaos at 2 in the morning. Not everyone's trying to make havoc in the streets. Usually we're just trying to enjoy what we build, and it's nice to have a creation under our name that we can, every now and then take out and be like, you know what, I built this from the ground up.
Appreciate that.
Mhm.
Anything you'd like to add too, Jose?
Yeah, like he said, I agree with him on the type of cars we all drive. It's a way of extending our soul into a piece of machinery. It just it's an extension of you. It shows the other people what you like, how you are, and it feels like something, a way of expressing ourselves.
It is. It's just like any other fashion statement. A lot of people like to wear Gucci or Louis Vuitton. And just like that, a lot of people like to ride in Porsches or they like to, modify their just maybe modify a car to look nicer and, put it lower to the ground to make it more aesthetically pleasing. It's all just either a fashion statement or if it's just, if someone's just trying to make their car faster because it makes them feel better or, it's not all, we're not always trying to get as fast as possible and create danger. A lot of these people who build cars, they're simply just to make them look better.
Right. Well, thank you guys for joining me on this podcast, and I appreciate your insights.